Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today during National Public Health Week. Our webinar today is Opportunities to Explore Public Health, and I'm so excited. We have 4 great programs to share with you today. So I want to quickly introduce our speakers. Oh, first I should say I'm Tracy Stewart. I'm the Senior Director of Outreach and Recruitment at the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health. I'll be moderating the session. So with me, I have Tony Mancuso, who is the Communication and Outreach Senior Specialist at AAMC, and we'll be talking about the Summer Health Professions Education Program. I have Jeff Oxendine, who's the co-founder and president of Health Career Connection and author of You Don't Have to Be a Doctor, Discover, Achieve, and Enjoy Your Authentic Health Career. I have Michelle Roth, who is a public health analyst with the CDC, talking about the Undergrad Public Health Scholars Program. And I have Pam Craig and Heidi Pfeiffer, also from the CDC, representing the Public Health Associate Program. So for now, I'm going to turn it over to Tony.
I'm organizing my screen, everyone, so just give me 1 second. Perfect. And well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony Mancuso, and I lead communication efforts for the Summer Health Professions Education Program, also known as SHPEP. Hopefully attending this session is the first of many steps on your path to entering the health professions. And as you'll soon learn, SHPEP scholars have a legacy of success. Over 65% of our scholars who apply to medical and dental school are accepted. But what is SHPEP? Well, it's a free 6-week summer enrichment program for college freshmen and sophomore students interested in the health professions. And our program is truly committed to strengthening the career development of underrepresented and economically disadvantaged students while preparing them for a successful career in the health professions. Students can gain experience in medicine, dentistry, nursing, optometry, pharmacy, physical therapy, and public health. And they can gain this experience at any one of our 12 program sites, which are listed on the screen right now. Columbia University, Howard University, Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, UAB, UCLA and Charles R. Drew University, University of Florida, University of Iowa, University of Louisville, University of Nebraska Medical Center, University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, UW or University of Washington, and last but not least, Western University of Health Sciences. So, what are the benefits of our program? First off, it's free, but what does that really mean? Well, students will gain, housing, stipends, meals and travel assistance to and from our program sites, from their home. But more importantly, they'll gain guidance from current admissions deans, health professionals, students in health professions programs, and our alumni base of over 30,000 about how to pursue their profession of interest. So as far as activities, students are going to gain academic enrichment in the basic sciences and math, participate in career development activities, such as mock interviewing or developing your CV, or even like structuring your personal statement, learning and study skills workshops, which will help you maximize efforts in individual and group settings, exposure to clinical settings, which is what's needed in order to matriculate into a health professions program, workshops in financial planning and health policy, and IPE. Basically, you get to learn how each of the health professions work collaboratively with one another. To be eligible for our program, students must be a high school graduate and currently enrolled as a freshman or sophomore in college, have a minimum overall college GPA of 2.5, be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, or been granted DACA status by a U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And last but not least, they cannot have participated in the program previously. Now, there are other consideration factors, and those are either identifying with a group that's racially or ethnically underrepresented in the health professions, or coming from an economically or educationally disadvantaged background, or even having demonstrated an interest in issues affecting underserved populations. I want to pause right here and say that our program sites engage in what's called holistic review, which means they're looking at more than just your GPA there. It's more than just numbers. They want to see the distance traveled. They want to understand why a health professions career is important to you, which is why it's critically important that you submit a strong personal statement and a compelling letter of recommendation. Now, I want to toss it over to one of our SHPEP ambassadors to give personal statement advice as you start thinking about, what that looks like when applying to this program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Lopez, and I'm an SHPP ambassador. I was in the program with Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School in the summer of 2020. I'm returning to speak with you all today about being successful in writing your personal statements as a SHPP applicant. I know that this part of the application can be challenging, especially if it's your first time writing a personal statement. The main advice I give applicants is to be genuine and to stay true to yourself. Don't try to write your personal statement as someone else or trying to fit a mold of what successful applicants may be. Your story is so important and it matters. So be true to yourself and let yourself shine, because I know that you all have so much going for you and have such amazing life stories to share. I would advise that important aspects to cover in the personal statement for SHPP are why you're applying to the program, what your motivations and future goals are and how they align with the program, what you look forward to learning and experiences to gain, what serving minority populations in the healthcare professions means to you, and how your personal life experiences have brought you to this point of applying to SHPP. Throughout all of this, I advise that you stay true to yourself, because I don't believe in molds for how you should tell your own personal story and your beliefs, experiences, and goals. Keep in mind that while the personal statement may seem scary and daunting, it's simply a means of sharing with SHPP who you are, your life experiences that have brought you to this point, and why SHPP aligns with your personal goals and values. Only you know how to express yourself and how to genuinely share your story. I believe in you all, and I know you'll all do great. Believe in yourself and speak your truth. The right opportunities for you will appreciate your uniqueness and all that makes you you. Thank you so much.
And I wanted to provide a little bit more from another ambassador, Jada Roberts, and she goes over how to request a letter of recommendation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jada Roberts, and today I'll be talking to you all about how to request a letter of recommendation. So, before you even request a letter of recommendation, it is important that you build a relationship with that person. Ways in which you can build a relationship will be one-on-one interactions, group interactions during office hours or tutoring, and as well as contacting them via email to reach out. What you would like to do is contact them, state who you are, what you are trying to do, and how they can be of assistance to you during that time, which will be asking for a strong letter of recommendation. So if I was asking for a letter of recommendation, I would contact them via email or in person saying, "Hi, my name is Jada Roberts. I am a student in your honors class this semester, and I'm applying for an internship this summer." Obviously include more details than that, but ask them, I wanted to know if you would be willing to write me a strong letter of recommendation. Typically, the professor will let you know if they can write you a strong letter of recommendation. They'll be completely honest with you. If they cannot write you a strong letter of recommendation, it is important that you weigh your options and consider getting a different letter of recommendation from someone else. Also, you want to make sure that you ask for this letter of recommendation a month in advance, at least a month in advance, before the deadline to actually submit the letter of recommendation. You have to give the professor or faculty member time to actually write the letter, include all of the details that you need to have included, and then be able to submit it on time. You also want to make sure that before asking for this letter of recommendation that you have your CV or your resume handy in order to give to the person who is writing you this letter of recommendation, which gives them a background about your endeavors and your goals, what you have accomplished thus far, that can help them support their statements about you. You also want to let them know everything that they have to include in that letter of recommendation that is required by the program you are applying for, the job you are applying for, etc. After you have had them submit the letter of recommendation, make sure you thank them. Make sure you thank them and let them know how appreciative you are of them taking the time out and the effort to write you this letter of recommendation and how much it means to you. After you apply for the program, the letter of recommendation is submitted and you get accepted into the program. Just do a follow-up and let them know that you were accepted, just to establish that further relationship, so that come time for you to apply for a new position or apply for a different program, they will probably be willing to write you another letter of recommendation because they know who you are. You have built this relationship, and they were of assistance to you. So good luck.
So the cool thing with those videos and those ambassadors is that, ultimately those tips can be used to not only apply for SHPP, but potentially for other programs or even health professions programs, for graduate level as well. So definitely, listen to those ambassadors and glean what you need to in order to make your application even stronger. As far as SHPP is concerned, our application will open this year, November 1st, and the deadline for that will be February 5th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time in 2023. So, if you're looking to apply, again, you need to be a college freshman or sophomore student, and applications do open November 1st. And that's it. I will go on ahead and turn it over to my next colleague to provide insight on the next application process and potential summer program that you could be a part of. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tony. That was really great and very informative. Up next is going to be Jeff Oxenbein, and I want to also say that we will be taking questions at the end, and please utilize the Q&A function. And if you have a question for a specific program, if you could just mark that, since we are taking them at the end, that would be great. All right, let me get my screen for you, Jeff.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being part of this session. It's a privilege to be here with my colleagues. I'm going to talk to you about Health Career Connection. HCC, this is our 32nd year. We're a national nonprofit that inspires and empowers the next generation of diverse health leaders and professionals. Next slide, please. We are a comprehensive career and professional development program, and we're all about helping you discover and achieve what we call your authentic health career. We focus on people that are undergraduates, usually people more in the sophomore, junior, senior year, people who recently graduated within a year or two of college, and we focus on helping people become leaders and professionals in public health, which is top priority in healthcare and in behavioral health. And we really are about producing people who are going to be leaders who advance health equity and racial justice and health improvement in all communities. The next slide, please. I mentioned we're about helping you achieve your authentic health career. Authentic health career, there's lots of people who feel pressure to be doctors or to be nurses or something that maybe isn't who you really are and what you all are all about. So HCC's goal is to help you discover and achieve your authentic health career, the one that best suits your unique talents, your passions, your goals, your lived experience, the difference you want to make in health, the impact you want to have on communities. So this is what our whole program is designed to help you walk away knowing more about what your authentic health career is and making good progress. The next slide, please. And the way we do this, Tracy, go ahead and just click this all the way out. That's your pathway to your authentic health career. HCC provides exposure. We provide assessment about what your strengths are suited for. We provide practical hands-on experience. We help you choose and pursue a direction and develop an action plan to get there. We help you understand how to prepare educationally, including getting into graduate school and choosing the right school. We help you with your packaging, your statement of purpose, your LinkedIn profile, your resume, your interviewing skills, storytelling skills, those things, branding, personal branding. We build network. Our saying in HCC is it's either network or not work, because it's a small world out there. You want to have a strong personal and professional network. We help you with your belief and courage. You all are amazing. As the last presenter said, we believe in you, but sometimes we need to strengthen our belief and courage. And then we help you figure out how to not only make your next steps, but how to adjust your career path as your change, as your life and your career interests change over time. So this is the basis of HCC. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our program. Next slide, please. So HCC has three programs and ways that we empower you. First are through our paid summer internships that I'll share in a minute. Our Health Equity Scholars Program, which is a virtual program. And then we have an alumni community with 4,200 alumni who are public health leaders and professionals. They're health executives, they're doctors, they're PAs, they're pharmacists, folks all across the continuum, mid, early, and senior career folks that you become part of the HCC family. Next slide, please. So our internships are 10-week full-time placements. They're paid. We are all about paid so that you can cover your bills, and this is about equity and social justice as well. So you get paid an educational stipend for being part of our comprehensive educational program. We have placements in everything ranging from health departments to community health centers to hospitals, advocacy groups, research institutes, a number of these but they're more practical hands-on internships. We now have internships in digital health and in biopharma as well. We have an apprenticeship model where you work one-on-one with a preceptor to help guide you in your direction. Plus you're part of a cohort, regional cohort of students who are like you, who are trying to advance their authentic health career. They care about health equity. And we connect you together in a comprehensive set of workshops that span the entire summer: career development, leadership development, racial justice, health equity, networking, all those kinds of things, and graduate school preparation. So that's the internships. Next slide. Our Health Equity Scholars Program is something we developed on in the pandemic because we couldn't have people do in-person internships. And by the way, our internships are in-person, some are remote, some are hybrid. Our Health Equity Scholars Program is a completely virtual program that's a half-time program, which allows you to go to summer school to do your GRE or MCAT prep. It still pays you an educational stipend. You still get all that programming I mentioned plus more. And we help you work on team consulting projects with real organizations solving real problems related to health equity or diversity, equity, inclusion, or community health improvement. So this is we're in our third year of offering this program, and this is a virtual program for students anywhere in the country. Next slide. We do operate in all these different regions, 4 throughout California. We have Midwest regions. We have many on the East Coast. So we have regional cohorts of students that you would partner with in each of these regions, and you'd really build networks and connections with. And then we have virtual internships as well. So you can see we span all throughout the East Coast, as well as now into the Midwest with Chicago and Detroit, and even some in Missouri area. Next slide, please. So we partner with graduate schools. Many of our workshops are held at or in conjunction with our graduate school partners. We know that a next step for undergraduates is, for many of you, if you want to be in the health field, is going to require an advanced degree. We do help you get a job after your internship, but we want you to get some paid experience prior to going to graduate school. And you can see the range of graduate school partners that we partner with, both medical, public health schools. We're increasing our partnerships with behavioral health programs. We have more PA programs that we're working with as well. So these are all schools that you get to engage with, you get to have warm handoffs to, and we help you prepare to get admission to these and many other programs. And we have hundreds of HCC alums that are in these schools already or have graduated from them that also can serve as role models and mentors to support you along the way. Next slide, please. Tracy mentioned that I'm also the author of the book called You Don't Have to Be a Doctor, Discover, Achieve, and Enjoy Your Authentic Health Career. It's a very practical book and everybody in HCC gets one of these books, and we have workshops and do all the exercises to help you advance forward. The next slide, please. Our application requires a statement of purpose because we want to know who you are and what you're all about. We want to hear your authentic voice. We want to know what you want to do in the health field, and we want to see how you can write. We also want you to have practice in preparing for like a graduate school statement of purpose. We also require a resume. We look at your educational background. We look at your demographic background. We look at you as a whole person. So we're not looking for a certain GPA. We're not looking for certain kinds of grades in science classes. You know, we're looking for people who the combination of what you're passionate about, what you've done in terms of taking initiative and having leadership roles, and then, you know, kind of your preparation to pursue health careers. But we want people who have come a long distance travel. We are all about prioritizing students from underrepresented, first generation and low to middle income backgrounds, people from rural areas, people from urban underserved areas, because we want to prepare the workforce that looks like the population that we have and has the knowledge and the lived experience, the skills to be able to do that. Next slide, please. And we have a pretty good track record. As I mentioned, 32 years, 4,200 alumni. People are happy with their programs. They recommend it to their peers, and then 70% either get a job offer or extend their internships from their host organization. So we are really helping you get to that next step. Next slide, please. This is just a quick example of, this is from one of our alums that just a couple weeks ago or like a month ago, said, hey, I got some great news. I got into Berkeley and Columbia Schools of Public Health, and HCC was a big springboard. This is somebody who'd done an internship with us got a job working in a governmental public health department through that internship afterwards as a contact tracer, and now helped her get into these schools. She got letters of recommendations from people that were part of her, strong letters, as our previous folks said, that were part of her network with HCC. So that's an example. Some other examples, the next slide shows some of our alums that are in public health alums, including the Chief Public Health Officer for the city of Detroit, and people who are leading national efforts around disaster preparedness and health equity and a number of other things. And I'm excited to be presenting with the PHAP program because we have a lot of our alums that go into that program every year. And from the Summer Health Professions Education Program, we have a lot of people who are in that program first that come into HCC. So the key here is we're the connection, to at this level to your authentic health career as well as to your next steps and to your jobs and graduate schools. Next slide. This is the last couple slides here, just other examples. We have people who can be doctors, even though my book is called You Don't Have to Be a Doctor. It doesn't discourage anyone from being a doctor. Here's Dr. Evita Limon Roca, who's a child and adolescent psychiatrist, who's an MD and an MPH, and who returned to her home community to serve. And she's also on the board now of the organization where she did her HCC internship. So we're about leaders in the boardroom. And the next slide is just some other examples. The African-American woman there, Brittany Giles Cantrell, is now the head of health equity for the de Beaumont Foundation. So this is her getting her degree with me at UC Berkeley School of Public Health. We're going to insert your picture there, standing next to me, smiling as you pursue your authentic health career. So with that, just the last slide shows you how to get in touch. Our deadline, the application for next year will come in September, October, and then we will be having an interview process that will be in next spring and in our placement process, which is underway now. So please apply. And a way to do that is to follow our website, which is the next slide, to help learn more about our programs. And you can go to our website, healthcareers.org. Thank you very much. Look forward to supporting you to achieve your authentic health career. I'll pass it on to our next presenter.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Always great to hear about what HCC is doing in their alums. All right, up next is Michelle Roth, and I will turn it over to you. You're muted, though.
I'll unmute myself. Is everyone able to see my slides? You should see.
Yes, Michelle, we can see them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So my name is Michelle Roth. I'm a public health analyst in the Office of Minority Health and Health Equity at the CDC. If you'd like to look up or Google the program I'm going to be talking about, probably your best bet would be to just use these search terms, CUPS, OMHHE, and CDC. And the CUPS program will pop up for you. And also for my presentation today, I'll be providing an overview of the CDC Undergraduate Public Health Scholars Program, which is CUPS for short. However, moving forward in 2023, the CUPS program will be named the John Lewis Scholars Program. So just something to note, if you've heard of the CUPS program and then you hear of the John Lewis Scholars Program later, it's the same program. We've just been adopted and garnered support from the John Lewis senators team who have adopted the CUPS program and named it after John Lewis. I will then also, after I talk about CUPS, I'll share specific information relevant to the Morehouse College's project Omotep. It's one of the 5 internship opportunities that's part of the CUPS program. And again, if you use those search terms, you'll be able to find information for all 5 of the programs. So the CUPS program was instated because of a well-established recognition for the need of diversity in the public health workforce. The following is a quote from a report to the Sullivan Commission on Diversity in the Workforce. It was published by the Sullivan Commission in 2004, but it still remains really relevant today. It's also important to note that while the report is seminal in documenting the need for diversity in the workforce, the acknowledgement primarily speaks to the healthcare setting. Given the numerous and complex ways in which the public health workforce contributes to the nation's health, we need to both refine and expand our understanding of this gap, specifically in the context of public health. There are active efforts by several national partners, including the Association of Schools and Programs in Public Health and the American Association of Medical Colleges, just to name a few, on building the literacy as to what the public health workforce consists of and how to diversify and create a cultural responsiveness in the public health workforce. And this will all facilitate a standard of excellence in public health. The CUPS program, as well as other programs at CDC, are responsive to this acknowledgement. So first funded in 2011, CDC's Undergraduate Public Health Scholars Program, or CUPS, helps to ensure a well-trained, diverse, and sustainable public health workforce that's prepared to meet current and emerging public health priorities. There are several expected outcomes that we are working to evaluate through this effort. Two immediate expected outcomes is to introduce a diverse set of students in their early college studying years to the fields of public health, and that people who have successfully completed the CUPS program will be encouraged and motivated to continue similar programs in public health and become ultimately public health leaders. And to this end, diversify the public health workforce and create representativeness in the public health leadership workforce. So very important goals for the CUPS program. Having the fellowship, this CUPS program as part of the OMHHE's efforts ensures that there's an immediate next step for students who complete CUPS to consider. The two expected long-term outcomes of the CUPS program are to increase the number of frontline public health workers and other public health professionals, and particularly include those from underrepresented organizations and populations that are prepared to address ongoing emerging public health challenges. So pictured here are some of the students that completed the 2019 CUPS program. This was at the end of the CUPS program. At the end of the CUPS program, there's a showcase. And with COVID-19, it's been virtual in the last couple of years, but traditionally it's been in person. Every CUPS student works with their mentor and they produce a poster that shows the culmination of the research they've done over the course of the semester, over the course of the summer semester with their mentor. And it's a really great opportunity to present your research, to connect with other researchers, other emerging researchers, and also to instill interest and get yourself out there to meet other people and other scientists and researchers at CDC who are studying the same thing that you are. So currently the CUPS program there's five universities that are recipients of the CUPS award. It's Columbia University, Kennedy Krieger Institute, which is associated with Johns Hopkins, Morehouse College here in Atlanta, the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, and also the University of Michigan. So to date, from 2012 to 2021, there's been 35,000 plus students who applied to the CUPS program. About 1,700 students have participated. So it's a very competitive program with the average acceptance rate of approximately 5%. In terms of characteristics of the CUPS projects, students participate in projects that are of different types. Most projects do have a research element. There's also a community health element, depending on where the student is located. So I should mention that with the CUPS program, the CUPS students, they participate in both didactic, which is classroom exercises and courses in public health. And it's a cohort model. So students work with their cohort, with their other students, and they complete certain curriculum to gain competencies in public health. These are aligned with the APHSH competencies. So you're receiving a really robust experience in public health in terms of curriculum. There may be tests, there may be homework, there could be field trips, etc., associated with the didactic part of the fellowship or the internship. And then you'll also work with a mentor, and the mentor will provide you an experience, an applied experience in public health. So the Omotep, which is who I'm going to highlight today, they're Morehouse College. Given their location in Atlanta, many of their students are put at CDC for their practicums and for their applied research experience. So they work 40 hours a week for about 6 weeks to 6 to 8 weeks with their mentor. Right now with COVID-19, it's a hybrid model. So you may be working virtually, you may be working on site at CDC, or a mixture of both, just because the posture is a little different right now. But generally speaking, in the past, historically, students who've been placed in applied research experiences or applied public health experiences have been there in person and are interacting one-on-one with their mentor on a regular basis. So the sites of the projects are academic, government. So the folks that are placed from Morehouse College are in government, they're here at CDC. Also, I'd like to just put out there that you don't necessarily have to be placed at CDC in Atlanta. There's also CDC locations in Seattle, Washington, and also CDC locations in Hyattsville, Maryland, which is right outside of Washington, DC. Other students are placed in community and non-governmental organizations. So I'll talk a little bit about Morehouse College, their project, which is Project Omotep. It's housed in the Morehouse College Public Health Sciences Institute. It was founded in 1981, and the mission is to increase the number of underrepresented minority students within graduate schools, programs, and careers in public health. And now we use the term minoritized and also underrepresented students. So the term has been expanded, and we're kind of updating like how we talk about these issues. So minoritized and historically underrepresented are the terms that we currently use. Additionally, Project Omotep aims to increase the knowledge and skills of underrepresented minority students and underrepresented students in the public health field. So in order to be eligible to participate in CUPS, and this is particular to Omotep, but this is also shared across the other 4 institutions and organizations that participate in the CUPS program. You must be an undergraduate, junior, senior, or recent graduate of an undergraduate institution. So you've graduated from your undergraduate program within 1 year, have a grade point average of 2.7 or higher. However, I will note that UCLA does not have a GPA ceiling or minimum. And then you also must be a United States citizen or a permanent resident. The application period, it has passed now, but it's typically from October to January. You need to complete an application, and this is shared not just with Omotep, but with the other organizations as well. You need to complete an application, supply at least 2 letters of recommendation, supply your official transcripts. Here's the application link to the Morehouse application site. However, if you use the CDC OMHHE CUPS search term, you'll be able to access all of the different organizations' application links. Some tips are to make sure your application is completely complete, that you've answered all of the fields. Don't wait till the last minute. Decisions are made right away. And also to have someone review your application prior to submission. The top candidates are contacted for a virtual interview, and this is true across all of our organizations. And the final decisions are made by April of the year that you apply. And then here's just some resources if you'd like to have more information. This will take you, the cdc.gov minority health internships will take you to the same place as if you use the CDC OMHHE CUPS search terms. You can always email cups@cdc.gov. And then here's the website, particularly to Omotep, Omotep contact information. And there's also an informational video that you can watch. And I think that that's, if you're interested, it'd be really worth your time to see the video. It'll really summarize what the CUPS program is about. And it's very similar across organizations. Of course, depending on the organization that you connect with and that recruits you and enrolls you, that's going to be dependent on that's going to really have a lot of implications in terms of the public health setting that you're placed in. So that is all for me. Thank you so much. And I hope that people are really interested in applying to the CUPS program.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I know I learned a lot about the CUPS program that I didn't know before.
Great, that's excellent. Thank you so much again. Thanks for that.
Of course. All right, up next we have the CDC PHAP programs. I will share my screen. All right, Pam and Heidi.
Thank you, Tracy. My name is Pam Craig, and I'm excited this afternoon to share a little bit of information about a program that's very near and dear to myself, Pam Craig, and Heidi Pfeiffer, and that is the CDC's Public Health Associate Program, better known as PHAP. Next slide. Let's talk about the mission. The mission of the Public Health Associate Program, or PHAP as we refer to it, is pretty simple. It is to provide training and an experiential early learning career public health professionals. It is an experience, but it is a training experience. And those early career public health professionals go on, many of them stay with the CDC, and they really make a contribution and truly make an effort to change the world in public health. Next slide. A few more things about the Public Health Associate Program, or PHAP. It is a 2-year paid field-based program. It is a job, not an internship. And in that 2-year field-based program, the associates, which they are referred to, those are the people that participate in the program, they are actual federal government employees while they're in the 2-year program. And during that 2-year period, there is a partnership and a collaboration between CDC and a host site. Now you probably ask, what is a host site? Actually, a host site is really a health department, and it could be a federal health department, state health department, tribal focus, something that's from the territorial health departments as well, and that's such as the US Virgin Islands or Guam or Puerto Rico. And of course, a host site can also be an NGO, which is the American Heart Association or the National Cancer Foundation. but there's a partnership and a collaboration that goes hand in hand between CDC and the host of our associates during that 2-year field-based program. Next slide. Now I want to tell you a little bit about some of the benefits of being an associate. The associate or the CDC employee will draw a salary and they have full health benefits just like I do and as Heidi does. They develop transferable career skills throughout that 2-year period. They get actual hands-on in the field experience and they work right alongside epidemiologists, laboratory health scientists, and subject matter experts in many of our subject areas throughout our many host sites. And another wonderful thing is that the CDC provides training. We have access to many, many training modules that are, most of them now with the pandemic are virtual or webinars, or some of them are online and self-led by you in the field. They also get training as well. So your host site will provide training to you as well as the CDC provides training to you. In addition to that, you have a support of supervisors. That supervisory support will be your host site supervisor as well as your PHAP supervisor. They work together to make sure that you have a great experience, but a successful experience as well. And in addition to that, we provide a mentorship program. And they work with our associates throughout that 2-year training program, and they talk. They sometimes meet for coffee after hours, but they offer them insight into the world of CDC as well as to the world of field service in the public health field. In a nutshell, it's a valuable work experience. It is from end to end, from the moment that you're onboarded until you end. It is a work experience with a job that is just value add to the public health workforce. Next slide. Now, some of the associate eligibility criteria: you must be a US citizen, committed to public service, and have a passion for public health and health equity. You had to have received a degree within the 2 years, be willing to relocate at your own expense, and they do offer regional preferences, so you can put in your preferences. They rank them, I think it's like your top 3. And they try to get 85 to 90% of the people, their preference. So they get to tell us what region they want to go to. Now, can we match them all? Maybe not, but we try to get real close to what your preference is. And you also have to have a willingness to commit to full-time work, 9 to 5. Because again, this is not an internship, but a full-time job for 2 years. Next slide. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my cohort, Heidi Pfeiffer, and she'll give you some additional information about some of the associate assignments.
Hey, thanks, Pam. As Pam said, now that you know a little bit about the program, let's talk about a little bit what kind of work you would be doing. As Pam said a second ago, you'll be put into host sites, and basically host sites are health departments, as she mentioned, and they apply. But some of the programs that you'll be working in would be like an STD or TB or chronic disease or immunization, as you can see listed here. Basically, the very generic public health domains that we work with here within public health. And we have them across the nation. We go from the territories all the way out to Alaska, all the way out to Puerto Rico, to Guam, as she mentioned. But these are just an example of some of the programs, the programming you would be doing here at the health department. Next slide. We are built on and follow a very strict competency domain with about 32 competencies that fall under these domains. And what's interesting about this is we've had these competencies for about since 2006 when the program started. And recently we've just been updating them. And some of the things that we've updated was to include health equity as well as public health preparedness. You'll be getting skill sets and transferable skills in all of these domains. You'll be learning a little bit about public health law at the local level. You'll be learning about communications at the federal level. But these are just a little smattering. And on our website, there's a really great overview of what our competencies are, some of the work positions, and there's some really great videos of associates talking about their experiences working at the health department. So definitely take a gander at that to see what kind of positions and programs they'll be doing. Next slide. one I wanted to highlight is everyone knows COVID. Everyone's been dealing with COVID for the last couple of years. And, one of the things that when you work with CDC, you do become a responder. And here are some associates that have actually responded during COVID. The picture on the left-hand side is CDC staff. These are people who were out in the field at their host sites, and they were pulled in to work at the LAX airport during the very beginning of the pandemic. And then on the right-hand side, there's a picture of two associates with the Richmond City Health District working and setting up a flu shot clinic for people coming in for flu shots. So we're talking hands-on, boots on the ground, getting your feet wet, really into working within the field of public health. Next slide. One thing that's really nice, I shouldn't say one thing, but there's a lot of things nice about PHAP, but one of the greatest things about PHAP, besides being trained by some of the best people in the nation, is that at the end of your 2 years, you then qualify to be apply for positions within CDC. You don't have to compete with anyone outside, just the folks within your class. And as of October of 2021, we've hired over 183 people. That's pretty good, especially for people who came in with absolutely no background. And that's the one thing I wanted to stress. This program really is meant for the early career public health professionals, as many of these programs, as you're hearing about today. These programs are really meant for you to kind of get your feet wet. And if you have any interest in public health or public service, try some of these programs and see, do I really want to work in public health? Do I want to really work in public service? Some people walk out of our program and say they never want to do it again, but it really was a successful experience because it demonstrated what they did and didn't like. The majority of our associates, I'll say, do love what they do with the PHAP program and either fall into a category of working at CDC after, or will go on schooling, get their master's. Some will work for some non-governmental agencies, as Pam mentioned, like the American Heart Association or non-health department type settings, or some people actually will even stay at their host sites and maintain their job there, working for them at the host site. So we have a pretty good track record, like many of the programs listed today, who are here to talk today, but we just wanted to talk a little bit about the number of people that we've hired here at CDC. Next slide. I think one of the biggest things I wanted you guys to take away from this today is about, we don't want the best and the brightest. We want the people that are the best fit. And that's the biggest thing I want you to really understand. We look for people who can see the bigger picture, beyond the specific area of expertise. You might not get into a field right away with us that you're interested in. Say you want to work within women's health, but then you end up working in HIV or you start working in environmental health. We want you to understand that big thinking is what we want you to do, and that we train you to be a public health generalist, not a subject matter expert, but a generalist. And that's what the B for big thinker really is about. We want to make sure that you have strong oral and written communication skills in order to share information that you're shared, and you can actually succinctly and accurately depict the languages and the verbiage that you need to share with your stakeholders in the public. But we do understand that not everyone comes with these skills right away. I can know that. I'll tell you right now, I was not the best writer when I left college. I can't even admit I am the best writer now. So I don't want you to get too stuck on being the best and having strong. We also want you to be able to be someone who can learn. We work with a lot of individuals who are from different backgrounds. There are many different races and religions, ethnicity, genders, age, sexual orientation, and philosophical views, of course, in the entire nation. We want to make sure that you are aware and respectful for people from different cultures. And then we want to make sure that you're free from prejudice and bigotry. We want you to be unbiased, tolerant, and accepting of all differences. We want you to be aware and also that public health emerges. Last 2 years has been, as you've seen, things have emerged and challenging us, and it's very fast paced. You have to be able to thrive within this dynamic situation, be able to kind of pivot quickly and kind of dance on your feet as fast as you can. You are always supported with our program, and many of the programs you heard today, there's always going to be people there to help you, supervisors or mentors. So truly, these programs are meant for you to kind of get your feet wet on a lot of these fields. We want to make sure that you're flexible. We also want to make sure that you've got some type of proven track record of academic success. We want you to be able to have the potential to comprehend and apply new information. We're not going to make you the best and the smartest person about tuberculosis. We're not going to make you the best or the smartest person about COVID. But what we will do is you'll be able to spell tuberculosis and know a lot about COVID when you leave our program. And I think the last one that's really more at heart to me is really about being a tactile learner. We want to make sure that you understand this is on the job. You're going to get your boots wet, you're going to get your feet wet, and you're really going to be out in the field. Next slide. And really simply, our next application cycle is January 2023. We hire once a year. We do interviews in January, February, and March, and we hire you in October. So as you can imagine, we're hiring about 215 people as of this October. The next session is January 2023. So take a look at the best fit model and see how you can fit into that, because that really is going to help you with your candidate and your application. Our website is listed there. Next slide. And we're just going to leave this open now for questions for everyone on the panel. So thanks for letting Pam and I come talk to you about the PHAP program.
Thank you so much, Heidi and Pam. It was always great to hear about the PHAP program. All right, so we do have some questions in the Q&A, and if you have any, please feel free to keep adding them. And I invite all of the panelists to go ahead and turn on your cameras now if you'd like. So one question, and I don't know if we could do maybe like a show of hands here, but I know a lot of the programs are really focused on undergraduate. So if you do have a graduate component for students who are either past undergraduate or in the middle or after their master's program, can you raise your hand if your program still is relevant? Okay, great. So a couple of programs here that are still. So Jeff, could you talk a little bit about your application program? I know you you went through it a little bit quickly, so just the qualifications for your program.
Qualifications are that someone at this point be an undergraduate or have graduated within the first, within a year or two, maybe 2 years out of undergrad. It's open to all people undergrad, but better chances as sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We are looking for people who are passionate about public health and health equity or some type of healthcare careers, who have some demonstrated interest in that background and are seeking to get more exposure. It's great for people who have some major in that background, but not required. We're just like the program that just spoke, we're really looking for fit. Like the PHAP program, we're all about fit. And so we're looking for people to write a good statement of purpose saying what they're all about as best they can. We know everybody's not good at it, but that's okay. We can see the potential. Submit your resume, and you know, we do have a priority emphasis on people that are from backgrounds that are underrepresented in the health professions, or that are first in their family to go to college, or from a low to middle income background or a rural community. So we really look at the whole candidate and try to see how they fit with HCC's mission and with our opportunities that our host organizations provide, because ultimately we have to have the students get selected by a host organization to work with in the summer, or to really fit our Health Equity Scholars Program.
Great, thank you. All right, there's a bunch of international students on the call today, and so they're wondering if they qualify for any of your programs, or if your programs would qualify for OPT. So I don't know if anybody does accept international students through that.
Hey, Tracy, this is Heidi here at CDC at PHAP program. At least we don't have any international host sites. It's all domestic, and that includes just the Pacific Islands and our territories. So we don't do anything international, but we do take international students who want to come back to the United States to work within the public health system here.
Also, since going back to you, Heidi and Pam, you mentioned I think a 3.0. So somebody who has a 2.95 or maybe a little bit below that, should they still apply, or are they out?
Yes, I hate to say that they're out. You know, you hate to say that, but unfortunately we want to have a proven track record, and 3.0 is what, and that is mandated from HRO from our side. That's something that's fun from the program that we have to work with. So 3.0 is what our minimum is.
Okay, no problem. There's a question about when you're talking about underrepresented minority and underrepresented, if you all are talking about racial minorities or any minorities such as LGBTQ+. So I don't know if that's for qualifying for your programs. Anyone wants to take that?
Yeah, there is the definition. It's in the CDC glossary, but it includes racial ethnic minorities, but also people that are minorities based on economic status, sexual gender status. There's several categories. There's several types. It extends beyond just race and ethnicity. I'll find it and put it in the chat.
Could CUPS and PHAP elaborate on whether students who are currently pursuing their MPH programs can apply to your programs?
Well, I'll start real quickly. Our requirement is to be within a degree within 2 years. It can be an undergraduate or a graduate degree. So the purpose of this program is for early career. So we really like people who have their bachelor's, but if people are in their master's program or actually within a year or 2 years from their master's program, they still qualify for PHAP.
Would current MPH students qualify for any of your programs that you discussed?
Yeah, and with CUPS, there is a another program associated with CUPS. It's called the Ferguson Program. So the Ferguson Program is for students that are in graduate programs in public health, medicine, pharmacy, dental, or veterinary, who are interested in public health. So there's kind of like 2 tiers. There's the undergraduate tier, and then the undergraduate recently graduated tier, and then also the graduate tier.
There are a lot of great questions in the chat, but we are running low on time. So I'm going to refer again, if the panelists can put the information, the contact information for their programs into the chat, that would be excellent. And I'm going to share one last screen. We are wrapping up National Public Health Week tomorrow with our webinar series about finding your path to public health. And so we have a session with the authors of 101 Careers in Public Health. They're going to be talking about how you can make an impact in a career in public health. So if you haven't registered already, you can go on thisispublichealth.org/events and get registered for that. Also, if you are thinking about pursuing graduate education in public health, that's where we'll post all of our grad fairs and events that happen this fall. So keep an eye on that website. All right, that's what we have for you today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to all of our panelists for sharing the information about your programs. I really appreciated it and loved hearing about all of them. That's it for today. Have a great day, and we will see you all tomorrow.